founder for the NCGR board, and I'm speaking today with our 2019 Baltimore conference speaker, Eileen McCabe. Hi, Eileen.
Hi, Maria. How are you?
I am well. It's good to see you. Eileen will be providing a pre-conference workshop on Friday, August 30th on transits, and another talk on Sunday, September 1st on communication skills for astrologers.
Yes, that's right. Yes, so, both. Yes.
Eileen, on your workshop description, you mentioned how quadrants are important in understanding and analyzing transits.
Yes.
Can you explain a bit of that to us?
Sure, thank you. Well, what I like to do is give people a kind of a framework from within which to go into to analyzing transits. And my feeling is that the angles in the horoscope, the ascendant, descendant, ICMC, horizontal, vertical axis, this is kind of the cosmic framework from within which the natal chart exists and also our transits, you know? So for me, when I'm looking at the horoscope, let's take Saturn, because that's not that it's easy, but it's easy to see right away where it's transiting, as well as all the other planets. But I'm going to go back to the ascendant. The ascendant separates, the angles separate the chart into different hemisphere emphasis and also different quadrants. So the first three houses take their cue from the ascendant. So this is about our basic instinctual development, okay? Our finances, who we are, our personality, how we communicate. Fourth house to the fourth, fifth, and sixth. Again, it's very subjective. We begin to kind of emerge a little bit more out of our own little personal womb, and we're exploring ourselves creatively, family, but again, within a safe context. Once we get to the descendant, then we're talking about above the horizon, which is the houses above the horizon. And that begins our development through other people and the outer world. And then we get to the 10th house to the 12th. We're talking about our contribution to humanity, right? So I want to see where the transits are occurring within the context of this framework. Are transits happening below the horizon? Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto? Are those transits happening above the horizon from the 7th to the 12th? That's going to tell me something immediately about what effect, how people's lives are changing. Are they changing in terms of their very personal life? Is the life changing because of their involvement with the external world, you know? So that's kind of each hemisphere, okay? The first three houses, 5, 6, and 7, and then 7, 8, and 9, and so forth. These four quadrants are basically the development of 4 different levels of consciousness. And so the transits are occurring within a quadrant, and that tells me also something right away. And what I want to do is always go back to the ascendant, Maria, because the ascendant is about beginnings. So if somebody's having Saturn transiting their midheaven, I want to know what happened when Saturn came to the ascendant, right? So I'm trying to get a larger developmental cycle picture of the situation.
Absolutely. You know? That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So
like if I ask anyone what happened when Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, or Saturn came to their ascendant, everybody remembers. And when it comes to the descendant, they remember that too, and the IC and the MC, because they're very dramatic, the angles. You know?
That makes perfect sense, yeah. So you had mentioned that the transits, they trigger the natal potential. So how do they do that?
Yes. Well, this is my own feeling on it. I always go into a reading through the transits because I believe that that's what's bringing someone in for the reading. Everyone works differently, but I want to communicate to the client that I also understand what they're going through right away. So my feeling is that whatever transit you're going through, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Jupiter, it takes its influence by where that planet is natally. So if you were born with Saturn in Libra, the reality of your life is always about relationships. And if Saturn now is transiting the 3rd house, I know there are big issues about communication, perhaps education, siblings, all those third house things. But I also know it's going to have an impact on that person's significant relationships, or how they communicate is impacting their marriage or partnership, or preventing them from meeting somebody. It goes back to that issue. And that's true. Saturn in Cancer is always about family, always about emotions, the mother, real estate, etc. So your natal Saturn is like the work you're doing all the time. And where it's transiting, it's impacted by that natal transit. Because in a way, Maria, my feeling is that, we have to think, well, what are the purpose of transits? But transits are really there for one purpose only, and that is to bring us closer to who we are, to our kind of divine potential, and that potential exists within the natal horoscope. And I think that that's the natal placements and where they are.
Absolutely. Who we're becoming. That's exciting stuff.
Right.
Our
That's
evolution. Right. Well, I want to
exactly.
Your other talk is on communication skills for astrologers. So
yes.
That's
yes.
Speaking about the consultation as a healing dialogue.
That's right. That's right. Yes. This is I've given this lecture before, and it's kind of something I kind of put together on my own, and that is that my feeling is how we give the information is just as important as the information.
Absolutely.
So we have to be very, not just careful, but very sensitive to how we give information. And we take our cue from the client, how is this impacting them? Where are they in their life right now? And that rather than, I always say, if somebody comes in and tells you something very intense, they're getting a divorce, they're sick, they just had a death in their life or something big or what have you, you don't want to explain it through astrology first. You want to have empathy and compassion for what they're going through as a human being. And if we kind of set the stage that way, then when we talk about the transit, people are more open. Otherwise, we could shut people down,
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. We should always be human beings first before anything else.
Really and truly, I think as astrologers, we sometimes forget that. No, because we believe so strongly in the transits and what's happening, and we're right, we have this information, but we just want to make sure that the client can hear us.
Yes, I love
this. And if they don't want to hear it, that's their business, So I talk about the role of the astrologer, how we're both a mother and a father in a way. We have to be nurturing and so forth, but at the same time, we also give certain concrete advice based on the astrology. And again, how we talk about, go a little bit into transits, certainly, and how we can approach a subject with a client, So it's a lot about who we are as astrologers, our role that we played growing up as children, because we have a tendency to continue that role, in our adult life. And so how do we see ourselves, So we need to kind of like know ourselves a little bit, so that when we give an intervention, it's not based on my own issue, but how I'm tuning into the client, if that makes sense.
That's excellent. I'm sure this talk will be well received. We are looking forward to hearing you speak.
Thank you so much, Maria. I look forward to seeing you all. It's they say it's beautiful where the conference is occurring in Baltimore, right on the water. So it sounds wonderful.
Stunning hotel. I'm really looking forward to that conference and hearing you speak, and we will see you there. Thank you again,
Maria. Thank you all so much.